We continue our reading of Lest We Forget, a daily devotional by author George R. Knight. Today's reading, May 6, Uriah Smith, Adventist leader. He who is faithful in a very little is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. To say the least, Adventist publishing was primitive when Uriah Smith first signed on to work with James White. One of his first jobs, given the fact that they didn't have a paper cutter, was to trim the edges of new books with his pocket knife. But that would change. As the century moved on, not only did Adventists develop a state-of-the-art printing establishment, but Uriah Smith would become the editor-in-chief of the denomination's foremost publication, serving in that capacity from 1855 to 1861, 1864 to 1869, 1870 to 1871, 1872 to 1873, 1877 to 1880, 1881 to 1897, and 1901 to 1903, more than 35 years altogether. In that post, he was in a position to shape Adventist thinking on almost every topic during the denomination's formative years. In addition to holding Adventism's most influential editorial post during a crucial period, Uriah also authored some of the denomination's most important books. Especially influential in shaping Adventist thinking on prophecy were his Thoughts, Critical and Practical, on the Book of Revelation, 1867, and his Thoughts, Critical and Practical on the Book of Daniel, 1873, later combined as Daniel and the Revelation. Smith's seminal work became the standard on the topic for 3/4 of a century. Beyond being an editor and author, Smith also served the church in its second most weighty administrative post for almost 1/4 of a century. He served as secretary of the General Conference, 1863 to 1873, 1874 to 1876, 1877 to 1881, and 1883 to 1888. And that wasn't all. Not being able to kneel in prayer with his stiff cork leg, he invented an artificial leg with the advantage of bending all the way back at the knee. Other inventions he patented were a school desk that had a folding back and a combination walking cane and camp stool. The royalties from his books and his inventions made him somewhat prosperous in his later years. Smith had given all to the Lord, and the Lord had given back, blessing the one-legged man who had dedicated his talents to his cause. Of course, like the rest of us, Uriah would have his spiritual challenges. In future readings, we will see some of his struggles. But the good news is that God uses less than perfect people, and that is truly good news, since all of us have both talents and struggles. This concludes our reading today of Lest We Forget.